Call to order the regular common council meeting, Monday, April 18th, 7:05.
Yeah.
7:06 p.m. Roll call.
Hayes.
Here.
Evanson.
Here.
Davis.
Yes.
Thomas.
Here.
Barthelmess.
Yes.
Criswell.
Yes.
Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. Confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting was noticed on Friday, April 18th. Agenda is posted at post office library and city hall.
Council acceptance of the agenda.
Motion to accept?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next item is a public hearing to hear comments regarding the city council's intentions to exercise special assessment police powers for sidewalk on Catlin Street. A little background prior to opening the public hearing.
Certainly. Page 3 of your packet to the staff report. Ultimately, the resolution on page 5 is something that is related to this topic also. The question is the installation and the special assessment really is the topic of the conversation for a piece of sidewalk that's missing on Catlin Street. That street is being reconstructed by definition in the ordinance. It is a reconstruction project which then requires the installation of all the infill sidewalks as well as the repair of any sidewalk that needs to be repaired. So that's been the case in many of all the streets we've reconstructed recently. So at the public hearing, you'll take testimony at the end of that if you're inclined to special assess the properties. The resolution on page 5 of your packet has some blanks for you to fill in as part of your motion. It is the interest rate that would be charged on a special assessment, the number of years of the special assessment, and there's also a minimum payment amount, which really probably isn't applicable in this case because there is only one property owner. Typically, as a little bit of background, the minimum payment is established for, if it's a $10 special assessment, the cost of spreading that cost over 5 years, say, becomes really administratively burdensome. So there was a threshold the council established in many of the special assessment hearings as if it's under a certain amount, it's just billed out all at once.
Thank you. Officially open the public hearing. If there's anyone that wishes to speak on this matter, state your name and address for the record. Yes.
I live on 10 East High Street and South Lawton. My name is Marvin Bailey. With that street that you're talking about repairing, I got a notice that you want to put a sidewalk in on my side of the street. I'm the only house on it. And if you match up with the warehouse sidewalk, you're going to be 2 feet from my garage, and you're going to take out one of the biggest pine trees that we got here in town.
Thank you.
There's a clause in your city ordinance that specifies that you have a mature tree that you may reconsider about putting a sidewalk in.
Okay, the front of our property, I'm Somerville.
Okay.
The front of our yard, East High Street, right on the boulevard. We have to go through a telephone pole. Behind that, directly behind that is this huge pine tree. Then there's another pine tree. Then bushes to reach our driveway, which is big enough to hold his vehicle. And the sidewalk would have to go right through the driveway where he would be parked.
Yeah.
The sidewalk will only be about 2 feet from my garage door.
Is that how far the right-of-way goes up, Tom, there?
Yes.
Is that accurate about the mature tree statement?
There's one tree that would go. The one tree I recall was in probably declining health, Tom, would you say?
The tree that they're talking about is a decent-sized pine tree.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Then there's another one that's a different type of pine.
It's a blue spruce is what it is.
There's never been a sidewalk there, and it just, doesn't really need one.
The warehouse one sidewalk will be where it is now.
So there's a sidewalk there now that basically dead ends at the property of the warehouse, correct? And if I recall, the parking along that street got axed. I think we first mentioned possibly a couple parking stalls there in the early stages of the redevelopment process.
Catlin?
John
Yes.
Hartman told me when they put it in, there will be no parking on my side of the street. You know, I'll be parking on one side of the street.
I don't believe there was a change in parking on Catlin. There's the configuration at the warehouse now is kind of parking in the terrace. That's all to be removed, so it'll be a
Right.
straight curb along Catlin.
Right. I think what I'm speaking of is I thought there was mention of possibly a couple of parking stalls to be installed on the Reinhardt property on Catlin Street at the back end of that. Okay, that never,
Those are removed.
oh, so there was though. Did they,
It was part of the conversation about, yes, allowing that continued kind of terrace parking, but that is not the case, so Catlin Street will just have... a
okay, that's what I'm
regular
wondering if
curb.
that got, if we moved on past that to where it will not be happening.
That's true.
So, okay.
So I don't believe there's any reduction of parking on Catlin. So there will still be two-sided parking on Catlin.
Correct.
Oh, I'll still on one side.
So if we were to not put a sidewalk where we're proposing one, is there any significant impact on that development? I mean, is there a plus, pros or cons?
No, because all he's got on that side of the street, on Catlin Street, is his air conditioners and his meters and everything. That's all he's got on that side of that street. There's no door coming out there or nothing.
This has nothing to do with the development.
Yeah, and I guess.
Right, but it runs along there, so I'm just, questioning,
Would this sidewalk be used a lot by the tenants of the, it would,
They don't use the one across the street from me now. They all walk down the street.
Exactly. That's why we want sidewalks.
Huh?
That's why we want sidewalks.
Why? They got sidewalks across the street, they don't use it?
Yeah, they do, but that's a straight through all the way to 59, It's straight through. The sidewalk on our side, you're going to end up with a car blocking.
You will have a lot more people in that area,
There's not a lot of people in the area.
but you're doing an apartment building.
Yeah.
So there will be more people.
But why would they be on that side?
Everything's
Because
all
Why would they get on
Apartment
the
building.
warehouse side and that?
It's a great policy conversation. The policy decision of the council several years ago was that if a street is being reconstructed, that is the most logical time to infill the sidewalks that are missing. That's the policy of the city, so that's why we're having this conversation
I
now.
got a copy of the ordinance today,
Yes.
and one of the comments is, streets with mature trees that would clearly be damaged by sidewalk construction is one of the, when you ask for a physical restriction, because they would have to be taken down entirely.
Right.
Plus the pole in the front of the boulevard.
Yeah, that's the power company would have to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know where they put that.
On the back of the east side of the old tobacco building, Reinhardt building, was there a sidewalk over there?
There is now.
Oh, there is now?
On Catlin Street, do you mean?
Yes.
Yes, there's a sidewalk there now. This, the only piece that's missing on Catlin Street is a piece we're speaking of this evening.
East side or west side, the missing piece?
It is
It'd be
on
on
the
the
west
south
side of Catlin, on the,
On this
South
side of
side.
Catlin Street.
South side of the block.
Okay.
Jim?
512 Ridgeway Street. My wife and I do a lot of walking, and we end up many places in this city where you end up at the end of the sidewalk, and now you gotta walk either over somebody's lawn, or you gotta walk in the street. It's not safe. That's why this policy was put in by the council years ago, that rebuilding the street, you have a sidewalk there for the people that walk and the kids that walk, the kids that ride their bicycles on the sidewalks. That's the only way you're gonna ever get it, because 10, 15 years ago, they went through, and I had to redo my sidewalk because there was some cracks in it and everything else.
I did too on my front sidewalk.
And that's just part of living in the city. If you don't want sidewalks, you shouldn't be living in the city.
You have a white that's showing big, beautiful blue spruce, just for the sidewalk.
Responsible for the cost of taking the tree down.
We would be on our
I
project.
planted another one.
I just can't see what that'll be used, you know, because I parked back there in my driveway, so that's gonna block the sidewalk right there. Like I said, the driveway, and the sidewalk's gonna be 2 feet from my front garage door.
Will that power pole need to be moved?
I don't know.
Is-
Tom, do you
I
know?
mean,
You looked at the details? Okay.
I guess I would like to know for sure on that before I make a decision on it, and then know what the implications are of moving that and the costs and,
It'd be a Alliance issue, wouldn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it would be
It's in our right of way. It's
that
not
would be
gonna
the
our
power
cost.
company's cost.
Not our
There are-
call.
Yeah, but that's what was thought out here, though, when this city was built.
You're talking about...
City Hall was built. I
No,
mean,
the
I think
power,
it's a
the
different
pole.
circumstance, but
well, I'm not certain, no, I mean, I would like to know for certain what the circumstance is, but
I have a question. If a sidewalk, since this is a TIF district, could a TIF money pay for it?
that property's not in a TIF district.
Oh, that one isn't? Okay.
And, I mean, the reality is, this process has played out on every street reconstruction we've done in the last 8, 9 years. I've done many cases where people have had infill sidewalks installed, and that's part of the process.
Has there ever been a time that it didn't move forward?
There's one that I can recall, and for you, the experts on the other end of the room down there, Blanchard Street, there were a few properties that weren't required to have sidewalk installed. Some properties were, some weren't. Otherwise, the last 4 that we are currently collecting for, Randolph, Blaine, Dickinson, Edward, all had sidewalk repair and a lot of new sidewalk installed. And
Do we know the reason why the other one didn't? Or that,
topography had something to do with it.
what's that?
It was
Too high of a
grading
slope.
issues, my recollection. There was sidewalk on one side.
I've lived there 47 years, and this is quite a few years back, they were talking about putting one, and they got checking it, and they told me, seeing as I was the only house on that side of the street that I was grandfathered in, so I didn't need one.
Yeah, the city's policy requires during a street reconstruction that sidewalk be installed. So that's a policy that is probably in the last 10 years maybe was adopted to try to address this
least.
issue.
It's not possible in all areas, though, even though it states on each side.
Correct.
There's no way you can put a sidewalk along Nelson Young's big building there.
Right, that's why there are exceptions in the ordinance.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to save a tree.
Will there be a sidewalk on the north side of Catlin Street that hugs the Nelson Warehouse building?
There is one.
There is on both sides, that street?
No, on the east side of Catlin Street. On the Nelson Young office side of Catlin Street?
No, on Lawton Street, sorry about that.
Oh, on Lawton, there is sidewalk entirely, not on the north side of Lawton and the block of Nelson Young. There's sidewalk going in on Lawton Street.
this is their house. The sidewalk comes here.
Wonder why we want, how can we not
Sidewalk on this.
requesting sidewalks there?
Because there's a building about 6 feet off the curb.
Okay.
When we continue.
Anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak on this?
I don't have an agenda. Where are we on, what are we talking about? Is it just this gate, or can we talk about Park Avenue?
Just this one right now.
A public hearing for Catlin only.
Oh, no, okay, then I'll wait.
I think we're out of agendas out there too. I looked to see and there wasn't any left out there to hand out. Okay.
Does anybody know what the potential cost might be for this at all? On the homeowner?
That's a good question. The homeowners are aware of it. I have that information in my office.
Who absorbs the cost if the tree were to come down?
It would be part of our project in the past,
Yeah.
right?
Huge, too. Because when we have our yard.
You have to take the roots off, it's good. From here to the wall, at least with the roots.
More than that.
If there's no one else that wishes to speak, we'll officially close the public hearing and move on to consider City of Edgerton Resolution 0816, preliminary resolution declaring the city council's intentions for the 2016 Catlin Street Sidewalk Program to exercise special assessment police powers.
So if I understand this correctly, the homeowner will be responsible for the price of the sidewalk and the sidewalk only? So let's say 5 years from now, we didn't put the sidewalk in, and something happens to that tree, it's got to be removed, then who would be responsible for it?
Property owner.
Something to consider.
Property owner should be responsible for it now to take it down?
No, if you take it down, if you put the sidewalk in now, it won't be. So it's something to consider. If we didn't do that, then if something were to happen, you have to take it down, then you would be responsible. So.
I realize that, yeah. If something happened to tree down.
But part of our objection is that the sidewalk is not going to be a thoroughfare.
It's not going to be what?
A thoroughfare, basically. It goes right through. Our driveway is just big enough to park our car. So if our car is parked in the driveway, people are going to go on the boulevard around. Across the street is a perfectly straight, beautiful street.
How do you feel?
On South Catlin. Our garage is too close to the actual street. It's big enough for the driveway.
So how much farther will this driveway go past their driveway then?
Just to the end of the Long Street, the end of the apartments. It's not from the lumber yard up, there's no sidewalk on that side of the street. It's all cement, but there's no sidewalk.
So I have a question, because I'm not picturing this. Excuse me, if sidewalk was put in, what does it do for your driveway? Did I hear you say it shortens it?
They'll have to put through my driveway. My driveway, I mean, the sidewalk's not going to be 2 feet away from my front.
Yeah, that's 4 feet.
Front of my garage.
Well, our car's going to be parked there. So they're going to have to go around the vehicle.
The apron is where there is almost no driveway. There's only, like they said,
The vehicle.
yeah, so the issue.
So currently, they're parking on the apron?
Right.
I see. Okay. And why is that? Because the house isn't set back far enough, or what?
Attached garage, and it doesn't meet any of the setbacks.
Oh, okay.
It should have been grandfathered in, basically.
The garage is grandfathered in.
But not the driveway?
Yeah, the
Because it really doesn't exist?
Right.
Okay.
I believe city ordinance says you cannot park blocking a sidewalk, correct? So
Correct.
would that be an exception to them, or could they be in violation of blocking a
Good
sidewalk?
question.
Yes,
Very good
but you
question.
can't park in an apron either. Correct, Tom?
Correct. But they do have another driveway off of High Street where they usually park their vehicle.
No, that's my son parks there. And that, we got,
We have to have
they
off-street
came out one
parking.
time, and the police department did, and that said we weren't allowed to park there, and they checked and found out that that was legal because it's been an existing
We
driveway.
bought it in '69, and it was there then, so.
So you don't park in the garage, though?
No, I don't park on the garage, no. I got
But-
all my barn equipment.
Okay, okay.
It's a small little
It's just a
garage.
small garage.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a choice of going down a straight stretch of street, sidewalk, I wouldn't go down a partial one and then have to go around, you know. No one's ever used that side, you know.
Well, I think another reason why it's coming up is that they may have not in the past, but there's apartments that are going in. So that's something new, and there will be a lot more people around that area than there were in the past. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, we have to think about what's it going to be like in the future, not just how it has been.
They walk right across the street onto the straight stretch, or they go the other way.
And that may
But
be
that's
too, because
now,
there's
but-
not a sidewalk in front of your house, so they don't choose to use that side of the street because they know that sidewalk don't continue through.
We don't have much foot traffic to begin with.
How many apartments are going to be in there?
28 units.
Well, there's going to be a lot more foot traffic, I think.
I don't think our way.
And why is that? Because you're,
They're the only house there, and they're around this whole other area there,
okay.
and that. They're going to be going down the south
Downtown
main.
or the other way.
You know, we're a little out of the way. One house on that street, so.
What's the distance from the curb to their garage, and how's that in comparison to where we didn't have a sidewalk before, where it was the building 6 feet from the street? Are we talking about the same distance?
The distance from the property line to the garage?
Yes, from the current street ends to the garage.
The current street curb line to the garage?
Yes.
I don't know, 15 feet maybe? But it's,
Minivan.
the, probably about 15, 16 feet.
Yeah, about 15 feet.
So the right-of-way issue is, there's only like probably 2 feet that is their property that they can legally park on. So that, I think it's, you know, a different circumstance.
Well, your snowplows don't even come close because they slid off and once they broke my back window, my back tailgate in the winter time, so they don't come up that far from the curb anymore.
Well, that's probably because then you were parked on the apron, right? It's because you don't have a long enough driveway, you're parked on the apron, that's why.
Pre-existing before they, you know, it's been
Yep.
here since the
Another driveway on the other side of,
If we were to build a new one, then I know you would have to go back and make allowances for this.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. So is there another driveway on High Street?
It's a
I got a
car
parking spot.
It's cemented in as a driveway.
When he parks in that, he's probably about that far over the driveway, over the sidewalk. And he's got-
From High Street I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
There's another driveway for your property on High Street.
Just the one short, nothing.
Just like a parking place, where he can park in the winter time and that. Well, he parks there all the time.
Who's he?
Pardon?
Who's he?
Our son.
He lives in the same property? There's no garage to the driveway off of High Street?
Not that driveway, no. I only have
No, I would have to
garage
go through all the
back.
pine trees and everything else.
Well, the public hearing was closed, but go ahead, Adam. No, that's okay. It's been kept open, so the conversation's still open. So.
So I'm at 16 Park Street. But I just want to confirm this. We're talking about the house that's on the corner of High Street, correct?
Yes.
And you have those new apartments that are right there?
The back part, yes.
So you're talking about 28 new apartments that's on that side, with the exception of all those or this increased majority of proposed traffic going to church. Why would they use that sidewalk? That's the only reason I can see that you would have a large increase of people going that direction is going to church. Everything else, the gas station, the lumberyard downtown is would be going the other
There'd be
way.
no reason not.
Why would they use that sidewalk? Putting in a sidewalk for increased traffic, what?
Well, I think people, though, we have to realize people just like to walk. It's, you know, maybe they don't have a destination, they're just walking for exercise.
They have their routes they got, they're straight
That we
through
see
High
walking,
Street.
they walk up the hill on the high, they walk up and around and down, and then up like 59 and then downtown and around. We see a lot of people walking around.
I know there's no sidewalk on Catlin Street from Lawton Street up to North Main, on either side of Catlin Street, and then on Lawton Street from Catlin up to High Street on the left-hand side, there's hardly any sidewalk on that side.
When does this decision have to be made in order for things to move forward? Is it tonight, or do we have more time?
You have more time.
Because I would really like to have more information on this power pole and what's got to happen there and who's responsible for it.
Yeah, I'd like to physically
I would like
walk
to
over
know
there.
for certain.
I think I would too. I think that's a good idea.
I'd like to see it, yeah. And I should have before tonight, but I didn't.
So I would like to hold off on making any solid decision tonight. That's my opinion.
Are you making a motion to that effect?
I will make that a motion then.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to, we'll call this table this?
Table.
Will we be notified then when you bring it up again?
Yes.
We'll send you a letter.
Can't discuss under table, can we?
Can't discuss
Okay.
under table.
No discussion allowed on the motion to table, so motion to table, roll call.
Mark Wellman.
Yes.
Yes. Davis.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Chris Wellman.
Yes.
Mapes.
No.
Was the total 5-1?
Yeah. No.
Thank you. Tabled, and we will let you know when this is going to be brought forward again. Next item is personal appearances. I know there's at least one guy out there that wants to talk. Anyone else? Okay, a couple of them now.
No, I'm a state representative Andy Jorgensen. I just stopped by because, I'll give you a little report, first of all, from the state capitol, and that is that the session is over, has been in the assembly since February. And not much is happening. We have a lot of work to do when it comes to roads and education and everything else. It's kind of a shock that they closed the doors in February, and the Republicans, they run the show, and that's their decision to make, and that's the one they made, and so we go on to the next election. I'm here tonight to tell you that I've chosen to run for a different office, and that is the office of Register of Deeds for our county, Rock County. I've been in the Capitol now for 10 years, and I know how to run an office, and I feel that in my moment in time for my life, it makes a lot of sense. When I have two young kids, one in high school, one in middle school, and I got a son who just went to college. At this moment, I'd like to stay closer to home, so I decided to run for Register of Deeds, feeling I've got the experience to do a good job for you. So that election will be the primary on August 9th, and then the November election, along with the presidential election. So there you go. My report is very short and sweet. So
All right.
any questions, or can I take questions?
We can't have a discussion.
Okay. All right. Well,
Can I ask a question? There's no business until when at the Capitol?
Next January.
Holy cow.
There's nothing going on until next January. This is one of the earliest times that we've ever just closed the door and shut off the lights.
You still get paid?
Still get paid. Again, this wasn't my decision. I wanted to, we had a lot of work to do. When it comes to roads, we certainly could have done more in coming up with a formula. I know there's wheel on the other side of the aisle. We should have been able to come up with something that made a lot of sense. One bill, see if you got no Matt on your talk. But there was one bill that wasn't going to answer the question, but it was going to at least give an idea to go with at a local level. And it was AB 210. And what it said is that each county can come up with a sales tax, 5% sales tax, up to, if they wish, to take care of their local roads. There was a formula that kind of clunked around from going to the county, to the towns, to the cities and the villages, but we could have at least debated that, I would hope, and come up with a formula that hopefully we could agree on. Now again, I didn't think this was the cure-all to it. It was something.
Excuse me, I got a question. Is this proper to be going on right here? Is it political?
We are limited to 3 minutes either way.
We're probably beyond our 3 minutes at this point.
I just given a report. I've done this before.
Yeah, but you get 3 minutes, and we've got a lot of stuff on our agenda.
I'm going to call a point of order then. So.
And I will adhere to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know there's at least one more.
We need to get a 3-minute timer.
I won't talk around in 2 minutes. I am part of tonight, so my voice is pretty low. Andy's retired from his seat. I'm running from his seat. Andy started in the last election cycle. I've been a classroom teacher for 40 years, 37 at Milton. I was just recently elected to the school board in Milton as the top vote-getter. I was given the Chamber of Commerce Achievement Award by the city back in 2012 for everything I've done for the community of Milton, including building our Veterans Park is what I started, and we're still adding on to it. We have another dedication in May for the Veterans Park. I've been 35 years a coach, 90 high school teams I coached while I was teaching. I've been won 2 teaching awards, top-notch teacher from Channel 3000, picked by my students as the best teacher in the area. And so I've done a lifelong commitment. I've coached youth sports. I was Milton City Recreation Director for 14 years. So I've got a lifelong commitment to helping people and making communities better. I'd like to do that for the 43rd district. Any questions? If you need information, I have information. If something else.
That's what I was going to say. You want to tell us, better tell us who you are. Some of us knew.
Yeah. Sorry, my name is Don Bruwink, B-R-U-W-I-N-K. I get used to talking so much that... Yes. I announced before she did. She's running against me. So, any other questions? Right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, we'll move on to the minutes from April 4th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Finance Committee.
All right. I will make the motion to approve the bills and payroll list in the amount of $477,035.17.
I'll second that.
Any questions on the bills?
Should we hold that until we approve number 5?
The Frontier thing?
We need to do that if it was
I don't
done that
think so,
way in
'cause
finance?
we already
It was
approved
already
it.
included?
In Finance you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Technically, I suppose you could make it conditioned upon
Conditioned
approval of
approval.
number.
I'll do it that way, contingent on approval of number 5.
I'll still second that.
Okay, any other questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Wilman,
Yes.
Swilman,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consider purchase, or a motion to approve a right-of-way for East-West Street off Highway 51, the amount of $1,150.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? We skipped over a couple of them.
Yeah, I got a lot going on right here.
We'll do this one. Any discussion on the purchase of the right-of-way? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Wilman,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Chris Wilman,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes. Motion passes. Well, there were no licenses.
There are no licenses, so that, there's nothing there. 6, consider,
Number 3.
no, I'm going off the wrong thing here.
You're up, yeah, last meeting.
Because we bumped that up.
Everybody's here for.
3, consider awarding bid for Highland Park Avenue Street and Utility Improvement Project. Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Going to have an amount in the motion?
Should have, yes.
I do not, I'm looking for it right now.
Here it is.
Right here.
The amount of $437,968.25.
$437.
$437,968.25
To RT Fox.
to RT Fox.
And I still second that.
I'm
Cindy.
missing a sheet here somewhere.
Discussion. Jane, state your name and address, please.
Jane, 607 Park Avenue, Edgerton, Wisconsin. I'm protesting the narrowing of the street. I don't think it needs to be done. When my dad bought that house back in the 50s, he bought it with the idea that that would be a wide street, and it was in the plat that the council approved, that that would be a wider street to attract nicer homes to that particular area. And that is one of the reasons why all those nice homes were built, because that was a wider street, and they wanted that wider street. We're entitled to that width, and it was built, everyone built up there with the understanding that that was going to be the width of the street. And I don't see why we need to have it narrowed. It's just ludicrous. It's a street that goes to nowhere. It's not a thorough street, and it's such a waste of money for the city to be spending the money there when you could do somewhere else where there's more traffic, there's more people. There's just that small neighborhood up there, and it goes nowhere. It's dead end. It'll never, ever be, Mid-Bowensville land will never open up. And so it's just dead ends. Why would you waste your money on that street? Resurface it and leave it the way it is. And forget about all the sidewalks on the other side of the street.
Why do you need such a wide street if it's not going anywhere?
They wanted it that way. Back in the 50s.
Back in the 50s. We're talking 2016.
Why is the Russo subdivision 44 feet?
It's not.
It is. It's
Oh,
by the Catholic Church all
You mean the
along.
Rudisill subdivision on the east side?
Yes.
Well, that's a collector street. That street's gonna connect probably all the way through to Highway 51 eventually. So that's why it's wider. But we don't build streets that wide now.
And I don't understand what you're saying. We're spending more money to narrow a street.
Well, you're gonna have to put all new curb and gutter in, right?
And it's needed.
If you narrow.
It is needed now, whether we narrow it or not, because if,
Why was that decision just bluntly, and not a property owner up there wants it?
it was not a blunt, we had a meeting on it, if I remember right.
And we came here and voted.
Yes, you did.
There was not a single resident on that street that said we wanted that street narrow, so.
And we were involved in the planning of it.
But it was discussed at posted meetings, and it's for us to make those decisions based on you guys. And if nobody shows up here in those chairs right there at these meetings, then we have to make these decisions on our own.
They did, though.
And that's what we did in the past. So that's why we're at this point. So it's not like you guys were left in the dark at all.
And
Who doesn't want that? I mean, I don't care if you leave the street the way it is. It's terrible when we live with it.
Okay, and I understand that, but this should have then come up earlier on.
I have a real,
We got to take out big trees up there, if they do put sidewalks up there.
I just want to say that every person was here at the Public Works meeting.
Yeah, they were here.
They were here.
And when we had
They're adamantly opposed to the plans.
Recently, but I'm talking at past council meetings when we discussed this. I don't recall having a showing.
Oh, yeah,
But it was posted in the paper. I mean, that's how we go about it.
Guy in the back.
it was posted on Public Works.
could I have a
Okay, we're getting
clarification?
too many conversations going on here. Adam's had his hand up for a while.
So I'm in agreement.
I don't know who you are, Adam.
My name is Adam. I'm at 610 Lenars. I'm at 610 Park Avenue. I'm in agreement with everybody else that's on that street as well. We are all, and from the information we received, we did come and stated. One thing that I had requested at the last meeting was that you guys had indicated that it was going to be cost savings to the city to narrow that street because of maintenance. And I requested that everybody here on that street get that information. Has anybody received that letter and I missed it?
No.
Okay, so we haven't received anything that's indicated that this is going to be a cost benefit to the city. Now, you just said it was 400 and some thousand to resurface it and narrow it. Correct? Did I miss that? Or
No, you heard that.
Just for clarification, that's Highland
Highland,
and
yeah.
all a bunch of underground work. That's where a lot of the costs are.
So in any case, I'd still like to see where that's going to be a benefit. We had asked for it, I had asked for it, you said that you would get it to us. I also agree that with everybody else here, that the street is fine the way that it is, that we, with the exception of having it be rough and not the first as far as snow plowing by a long shot, it's very comfortable. And we like it the way that it is, and I think that's what we should say before there's anything done.
But I think a lot of the big issue here is the fact that the infrastructure beneath the street does need repair, correct?
Not on Park.
Just
Highland.
Okay.
Highland
Okay, that was my
infrastructure.
question. Exactly what's going to happen to both of those streets? What's the work?
Highland is all underground.
The
and
water,
street-
the water mains?
Water, sewer, storm sewer
Yeah,
improvements.
and Park is not because they don't need it, or,
Just the surface is bad.
but was that done at a different time, earlier,
For
or?
subdivision in Highland,
You
yeah.
must have televised that the sanitary is okay, Randy?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll be doing it.
Well, I'm sorry, Randy, what?
We televise the sewer's good.
Okay.
But I saw Doc had his hand up back there. Dave?
Oh, go ahead, Lowell.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Lowell.
Lowell Alverson, 629 Park Avenue. I spoke my piece at the last meeting. A few of you were here. And I got a terrible cold, so I'm not going to talk very much, but I still maintain that you are talking about a sidewalk that leads to nowhere. Dr. Tomlin, the other day, he said, well, we're going to go the other way. Go the other way, we're going to go down the hill, Newville Street. I see no purpose in it. Oh, I want my neighbor's dog, and I never use it as a sidewalk. But nobody ever walks on our street. There's no reason to. Where's it going to go?
If I could, the next,
The country club, do you think they're going to care to have it there?
at the next meeting is there will be a public hearing regarding the sidewalks, and so we have to be somewhat cognizant of the fact that we should be taking testimony during that public hearing when it's noticed. So tonight's decision is the street width. So sidewalks is, we understand, very important. There's a procedure we must follow, so hopefully you can come back and feel better on May 2nd when we have the conversation regarding the sidewalks.
So tonight's discussion is only about the width of the street,
It's
correct?
the award of the contract technically, and yes,
Awarded,
that
okay.
will set the width of the street.
And that also,
My opinion on that, I see no purpose in widening the street.
it'll also have, be part of the decision moving forward. If we do not narrow the street, you wouldn't have room for sidewalk. Am I correct in that statement?
Well, there's room, but it would be much more problematic for landscaping and grading wise. So at some point, if sidewalk were to ever go in, then even if it's 10 years down the road.
Dave.
Dave Forrest, 618 Park Avenue. I didn't realize that part of the city's deal here is that when a street is refurbished, restructured, whatever, sidewalks come along, okay? Obviously, sidewalks aren't on the agenda here tonight, but the width is. The only reason you want to narrow that street is to accommodate the sidewalks. So, yeah, it is. There's no other reason to do anything with it. None. And $31 a linear foot for curb and gutter seems a bit much to spend when what we have is fine. So I mean, that's all.
So another hand up here.
My name's Kyle Anderson, here for Edgerton Town Country Club. I understand you weren't here for the first one, I apologize for that. But I just wanted to go on record that we're in agreement with all of them. We don't want sidewalks or widthening or shortening of anything to do. I have tee boxes, irrigation, and trees on that property, and if there were curbs or sidewalks, that would interfere with our golf course, and we are not with it, so I just wanted to go on record by saying that.
Adam?
It is.
Okay. I saw you shaking your head on as far as the sidewalks on the north side, my property specifically. I have a large hill there. Unless you're going to cut right into my yard, literally into the hillside, you're not going to get a sidewalk in there.
I guess the comment that we were only narrowing the street to put sidewalks in is not a truthful statement, because we've narrowed, every time we get an opportunity to narrow a street, we narrow a street. So this,
Without actually narrowing it, let's say you kept it at the same width, when I put the sidewalk in, I can understand his comment about actually narrowing it to accommodate the sidewalk, because you couldn't put a sidewalk in really on his area. He's got a limited yard. The next neighbor to him would be a limited yard area that you put a sidewalk in, and mine has no ability. You have to narrow the street to accommodate a sidewalk. So I agree with what he's saying, that the only reason we actually want to do that, and I get that you guys are doing that, that's part of the agenda, that when we resurface, that you're going to do that, and I appreciate that, but there's really not a necessity. I think that honestly, if you showed us the numbers, I'd really like to see where there would be cost savings, other than in maintaining the curb, as somebody else said. The curbs are solid, and I can see the road needs to be resurfaced, but
I guess I'm having trouble with people not understanding how a narrower street would be cheaper to maintain. It's kind of like a 1,000 square foot house is going to be a lot cheaper to maintain than a 2,000 square foot house.
That means you want to pass with the snowplow?
Oh, this is not this, when you resurface it, any maintenance you do, it's going to be
crack
cost savings.
filling. Dave had his hand up again.
Does anybody up here know how wide Park Avenue is from curb to curb?
face-to-face, 44?
44. Okay. Does anybody know how wide the streets are in the new subdivision on the back nine of the golf course?
Back 9.
41. 41 and a half feet. So I guess for the 2.5 feet, you know.
Is the cul-de-sac also that?
Yes. Are you talking on Park Avenue or?
No, I mean on the golf course.
No, I just measured the streets.
Yeah, the north-south one is intended to carry a lot more traffic someday. That was intended, that's why it was built wider, but we don't.
You go down that and make a left and go down into the court area there. It's the same way. Yeah. Where do you go the other way?
The policy now is, unless it's a collector street, 38 is the widest we go with any streets.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we're not a collector street.
Right, so we wouldn't want it wide.
That's the point.
Right.
And it's there. So I guess that's our point.
Right.
And what about the original intent of the plat? Said that that street is going to be that wide and it was there for a purpose and people built up there because of the width of the street. And now you're going to go back that city council doesn't matter what they voted on back then?
The plat creates the right-of-way, and so the width of the street is a decision made every time there's a street project as to what the street width should be. So many of the subdivisions we built now, that are being built now, have significantly narrower streets because it is now very common belief that narrower streets are safer streets. So in the 70s and some decades before that, it was thought that if you make a street really, really wide, it'll make it safe. And in fact, they made streets unsafe. So that's why across the country, we don't build streets 44 feet wide anymore for a residential area.
That's a safe street right now. I mean, that's, the argument just come up there anytime. It's perfectly wonderful.
When we built it with gravel, and then later on they did some other work. Later on, they blacktopped it.
So I have a question. Is the concern really about narrowing the street or the sidewalk?
Both.
Because if the street were narrowed but no sidewalks put in, that would still be an issue?
we like the way that it is. It just needs to be redone, resurfaced. That's it.
I got a question. What would be the difference in the price of the bid if we did not narrow it? Is it a considerable difference?
Well, we estimated those. We didn't bid it that way, so we don't have real hard
Right.
numbers. We estimated it before, and there was a measurable savings in the construction, the estimated construction costs, and then, of course, over time, there's the maintenance savings of a narrower, less surface to maintain.
And the next time it has to get resurfaced.
Correct.
I live on the narrowest completed street in town, in the city. Parking on both sides, you can't do that because there's not room there. You wouldn't be able to get through if we were parked across from each other. I've been a proponent of narrower streets for a long time, probably since after Marlboro went in down there and made that drag strip until the stop sign went in down there. You can work on a narrow street. You can drive in and out. You might have to slow down and wave at your neighbors as they're going in and out. And I'm on a dead-end street that has 3 houses behind me. So it's not like there's a lot of traffic there now that the hospital's gone away, moved out. But it can be done. It can be just as nice a street as a 44-foot wide one. I think mine's probably, what, 16 foot?
20.
Well, that snow blower works really good then. So, I saw another hand up.
I think Amy Mulrooney is on Park Ave. I think a lot of the issue is there's always a lot of us have a vehicle on the street at all times. And we drive past Highland and you have vehicles on both sides. You can't have 2 vehicles going down at the same time. So that's what we don't want to have on Park Ave. So that's just part of our issue with not wanting to narrow as we have the same issue that we see on Highland.
But it doesn't seem like it's, I mean, how many residents really are along that on Park?
13.
Oh, there are 13? There's more than I would have thought.
No one has said that they want to narrow.
So we're going from what, 44 feet to what?
32,
32? So
same
we're-
as Highland.
So we're losing 12
Yeah.
feet?
That's considerable savings when you start maintaining roads.
Yeah, see, I guess,
Why was it not a bid for not narrowing it?
It's a lot of money to design that, put the design together to bid it that way, because you have to provide all the engineering that goes with it. So we would never have done that because that's expensive.
So then what's the point of getting our
Still
I
a
don't understand.
democracy here.
We're saying that if at this last meeting, we'd all said we didn't want it narrowed, why wouldn't there have been at least consideration to get a bid for keeping the street at the same width?
That was up to the decision makers at that time.
so when we get bids for this, is that, and this is where I think you can help me, Ramona, it's an automatic that when we redo a street, there's an automatic process to do it a certain width. Is that correct?
We always evaluate it.
Oh,
It is not an
okay.
automatic that everything gets narrowed to 32. We look at what the conditions are in the circumstances, and if there's a cost savings potential, and we can
Okay.
make a street narrower and therefore inherently safer, then that's kind of the policy we work toward. But sometimes it doesn't make sense for various reasons.
So, and the savings will be the maintenance of it, the snow plowing,
Cost of initial construction.
the initial construction, what else?
Seal coating.
What, seal coating?
Seal coating.
Okay, so we're,
Future, if we have to take out the blacktop and replace it.
sure,
I mean,
I see, okay.
I understand what everybody's saying, and I can agree to that, but are you gonna live there forever? And I get that. Well, it's not fair, but you have to look into the future. So it's not fair to the people that are gonna live there in the future. Maybe they want narrow streets, maybe, you know, I'm looking at my budget.
You're looking into a crystal ball in that aspect. Who's to say that?
Well, but I'm looking at my budget, trying to repair the streets in this community, and I don't have the money to fix them all. So when we have the opportunity to make your street nice and new with a new blacktop, new curb and gutter, we should take that opportunity and make that street last longer.
Why does it need it though?
Well, you're all saying that the blacktop needs to be replaced. Okay, so we can fix it, we can fix that now, narrow it up a few feet, make it cheaper for the person that's in my chair in the future to repair that street. Just like we're gonna look at a lot of the other streets in this community that were put in that were way too wide. We can narrow those up also. So it's cheaper to maintain.
On Highland Avenue right now. You drive up there sometimes, you're charging the whole side. It is very narrow. You get out, you can cross that too.
When was the last time it was actually resurfaced? I think that came up with the last, I think it's 30-something. So I think it's going to make it a little while longer. Probably make your savings back. And that's
Kim?
I live on Park Lane. My mother was on Park Avenue. We have a very narrow street. Parking on one side only, 2 cars cannot pass each other. People go to open their car door and you can almost hit them. So that safer thing, I really don't agree with that. There are no children in that street right now up on Park Avenue. There probably will be again someday. But you narrow that street, you're going to have a kid right at the top right now. So I don't agree with the narrow street safer.
So
Kim Egler.
is South Main, how wide is South Main?
Which part? How far?
Going out towards the cemetery.
Oh, Tom?
28 currently.
Okay,
28.
28.
And this is 40,
But
And-
South Main, if you in the town, you'll notice that there's no parking on one side of the street.
okay, so I'm trying to visualize with the parking. I did. I actually drove up there to see, and I got to tell you, those are terrible streets. It's terrible. I got to tell you, I wish we had the opportunity to take care of South Main. So I kind of look at it differently in that you guys are really lucky that you're getting the street work done, because I would love to see it on South Main where there's a lot more traffic than what you guys are getting up where this is. Excuse me. Having said that, I also understand the sidewalk issue and the narrowing, and I got to agree. I mean, if it's going to save the city money, and it will. And I know you're looking for the cost, but just what I heard tonight, I like that. Sidewalk is a different situation, and I'm normally a sidewalk person, but I've heard enough to the opposite of it that I could think very differently about it. But when we talk about the street itself, anytime there's an opportunity to fix the streets and make it easier for plowing and maintenance, I think we need to do that. And so I guess I'm not as opposed to the narrowing. I might be opposed to the sidewalks. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
What's more, Adam?
any of our discussions, the fact that we were here before, I mean, my understanding is that this is to accept a bid, correct? Or vote on it. So was there any point to any of us coming in?
Could I speak on that, actually?
Obviously, with complete disrespect to our wishes.
No, I'm going to speak on that, actually. I'm going back, and he touched on it earlier, and I was speaking of this a little earlier. This all started at council meetings several months back, and there was nobody here for these posted meetings, okay? So we discussed this, and with no input from the public, we made a choice to decide which direction to go when we discussed how we go about creating the bid process for this, whether it was going to be for a narrow street or a wide street, and we did it with no input because no one was here, and that's how we got to this point.
It's posted in the paper.
So it's not like we're disrespecting you people. I mean, that decision was already made several months ago at a council meeting when we made the decision.
No, you were just here a month and a half ago.
No, we're talking. I know there was no one here because I was at that meeting. There was no one sitting there.
Public Works you guys came to, and the only reason then is because you guys realized that the plan was to narrow it.
We sent a letter out
Yes.
to everybody.
But when we made the decision on how to go about taking in bids and budgeting for this, whether it be a narrow street or a wide street, several months ago at the council meeting, there was no one out there. We had to make that decision on our own.
So with the exception of putting it in the paper and otherwise nobody being informed that that's something that you guys are going to discuss, you went ahead and did that, correct?
That's how we had to do it. It was a publicly noticed meeting. That's how we get the information out to you to say that, hey, we're going to be discussing this.
Yeah, we can't
That's
send a
how we
letter
go
every
about
week
it.
to every person in town that we're having a meeting.
It's not like we're hiding something from anybody. I mean, it's a publicly posted meeting, and we have to go on with the agenda to discuss what's on it, whether there's somebody sitting out there or not. And then if there's no one there, we have to make those decisions.
What was the point of the other letter? If you were going to take our input and obviously ignored it, what was
We did not ignore it, and that's very unfair of you to say. First of all, we didn't ignore it.
you made a decision?
We haven't made a decision yet, but we're going to. We have to make a decision. But to say we paid no attention to what you said is absolutely wrong, because I paid attention to what everybody said at the last meeting.
Okay, so did you guys investigate looking into a bid without actually narrowing it?
I took the information from the last meeting, and I myself...
Was there a bid on having the work done?
No, because again, as Ramona stated earlier, it's a very pricey process to get a bid for both options. So we decided to go ahead with getting a bid on the narrower street several months ago, because we had to either go one way or the other. We couldn't go both ways, or it would just be a ridiculous amount of money spent. And again, if there was people here at those meetings, we'd have been able to make a more fair decision on how to go about it based on what you guys, the input you would have given us back then. So that's where I'm just having issues with this.
But for you to stay there and say that we had total disrespect for your opinion, I don't think that's the right statement.
I don't think it's right that you guys are going ahead and moving forward with this. It sounds like you
Okay, we have numerous streets in this city that need to be repaired. All I hear about each and every day is we need to get these streets fixed. That's all I ever hear. And for you guys to say you're happy with the street, I don't believe it, because there's people sitting in this audience, when I got signatures, that was their biggest concern, getting our street fixed. So I'm not buying that either. If we have the opportunity to do all the stuff underneath and get this thing done and done right, we're going to do it. We have to make that decision. That's what the decisions we have to make. Where they're not always popular decisions, as a council, if we feel it's the right decision, that's the decision we're going to make. We're not always going to be popular. At the end of the day, we're looking out for the taxpayers' money, not just the people on Highland and Park, but the whole city. And that's how we base our decision. Not to mention, if it's the way we've done it in the past, and it's the way we want to do it going forward, we can't make exceptions for each and every project we do. You just can't do it. You have to be fair and consistent, and that's what I pride myself on being, is fair and consistent, and that's my biggest thing right here.
Gene?
Jane Witt, 607 Park Avenue. I apologize, Miss, whatever, for putting it back on you. I didn't. I was a councilman, so I know I should
Person.
But I didn't, and that's my bad. I didn't know you guys were discussing it. I should have been following it. But we're telling you now, and you, both of the Rutlandses represent us.
That is correct.
And we just wanted to let you know that we hope you take whatever we say into some consideration.
And we will, absolutely.
And as I said, please understand, we don't just represent the people on Highland and Park. We represent everybody in our district.
Well, we represent everybody in the city. I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
So we know what it's like to be up there. And
So.
It isn't always easy, but thank you for doing your civic duty and listening to us.
We're just asking Doug Witt
Doug Witt from her house.
at this point in game. Other than the fact that you can probably veto it. Chris, that's one of your issues from talking with our attorney a couple of times. And we're just voicing our opinion that we feel it's a bad move, but that's just our opinion as taxpayers and residents on that street. And leave it up to you guys to make that decision. I'm sure we'll hear about it. But, I mean, I sat on the council one time, my wife did, and we know what it's like to make these decisions. I'm not criticizing you guys for making the decision. We didn't know that was coming up. We agree 100% with Island Avenue is terrible. It needs redoing. Just ask you to consider the plans for Park Avenue and maybe reconsider it. All right?
Okay.
Thanks. Jim,
Mayor,
did
do
you
we
have your
have a
hand up?
motion and a second on the table?
Jim, there was another question.
Yeah.
I was at all the meetings, Public Works meeting, the city council, and I heard what you all said, and I agree with you. That's where I stand. All you guys came down. We've had public meetings before on big topics, and we usually listen to the people generally. You know, we had a power plant proposal years ago. People came down, they didn't want it. So we listened to the people, even though that financially that was good for the city financially. But the people came down, and we just listened to the people, you know. And just like everyone else, you know, I appreciate you coming down here, taking the time for that. You came down big time in that Public Works meeting, and I've talked to some people too, and I think that's great that you had that much of sincere interest into it. A lot of people, when I see it on the agenda, I don't even care, but you came down, you know. That means a lot to me. I just want to tell you.
So I think, though, from what I think I'm hearing is if we were to, it would be very costly for us to go back and rebid this. It would be costly.
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion to call a question.
Enough debate.
Chris?
There's a motion to call a question. Does it need a second? No. No? That conversation has to stop when the motion's been,
I believe so. I was just checking that.
okay.
Take a vote on it, is that, or not? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that is a proper procedure.
does it need a
Take
second?
a vote on the call to question.
Right. But I don't believe
Does it need a second?
I'll second it if he needs it.
It's got one if we need it.
All right.
Okay, so motion on the floor to call the question. Roll call.
Chris Wallace?
Yes.
Graves?
Yes.
McIntyre?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
McCormick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
So now the original motion we go back to, correct?
Right.
And that motion was to approve the spending for the...
We could have the clerk repeat the motion, and then we'll have a roll call.
Motion is to approve the bid from R.T. Cox in the amount of $437,968.25 for the Highland and Park Avenue project.
Okay, roll call.
Mark Willis?
Yes.
Chris Wallace?
Yes.
Graves?
Yes.
McIntyre?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1.
So, Chris, there is a meeting coming up, you said, Chris, for the special, for
May 2nd, you said that.
Correct. Hopefully everyone's received their notice.
for the sidewalk issue.
That's about the sidewalk part, you said May 2nd?
Yeah.
Public hearing, correct.
Okay.
Thank you all. Toward the bid.
We are moving forward with the project, with the narrowing of the street. That will be
That's
on the May
next.
2nd agenda.
That's on the next meeting.
Okay, Mark, you're, I think you're at the Frontier one now.
All right, I did not do that yet.
Right, I think that's when we're at.
Frontier, I thought, didn't Candy do?
I think I did that, didn't I?
It's conditioned,
Contingent upon us approving it
Okay,
here.
okay, that's right. Motion to approve Frontier cost for service to lot in the business park of $42,131.49.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I was here at
Finance?
Finance, but I had to go out and take a couple calls. What was the dispute on this one?
There was none. We need to run data on phone to that, where that...
There was something on the price? I know we...
No,
an agenda issue. It was,
we were going to pay the bills before we approved the contract bid.
and it was on the bills list, so in
Oh, I
effect, you're kind
gotcha.
of taking it out of order.
Okay, so it didn't matter. Okay, gotcha.
No, and just so
Why are
you
we
know,
paying the bill before we've approved?
and just so you know, all of his no's, he just wants to have his last meeting go down as no.
Okay.
Don't write that, I was just kidding.
That's the only question I had. I knew you were
If we do
discussing.
not approve this, it's going to alter the actual bills and payroll, the
Yes.
dollar amount. If
Okay.
we approve it, everything carries on as usual.
We were kind of getting the cart in front of the horse, in my opinion.
Sometimes I like to do that.
You know, let's call it a busy night, or a busy agenda.
Right, and I have a lot of little, if you look at my agenda with all the little squiggly lines on it, so that's part of the reason.
Okay, is there any more discussion on the Frontier costs?
No, my question is answered. Thank you.
Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walner?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Chris Walner?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so now we're going to move on to, I believe, pool fees. Going to make a motion to approve the 2016 pool fees.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walner?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Chris Walner?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and do 7 and 8 here together, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the bids for the diving board stands, the chair stands, and the painting of both, with all low bids coming in at a total cost of $27,723.42.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just got one question. There aren't any fun umbrellas hidden in here anywhere, is there?
No.
All right.
Had I known we were having a 25th celebration, we could have given her a funbrella. I mean, huh?
You know that.
Yeah, donations.
I apologize.
Saved that much in painting, didn't you? Saved that much in painting, didn't you?
There you go.
Okay. We are discussing these two things yet?
I
Are we done with that?
question answered.
Okay, roll call.
Mark Walner?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Chris Walner?
Yes.
Mays?
No.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve the bids for the pool shower replacements to PCI Plumbing in the amount of $12,746.55.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walner?
Yes.
Chris Walner?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve bids for the interior painting of the pool building to Johnson Painting in the amount of $5,995.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walner?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Chris Walner?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consider facade grant application for awnings at 102 and 104 West Fulton Street in the amount of $1,057.11.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walner?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yep.
Chris Walner?
Yes.
Mays?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
That one passes.
Thankfully, I am done with finance tonight.
Thank you.
About time.
Anything from you? Anything from utilities?
No, nothing to report from utilities.
Anything from parks?
I was not in attendance, so if anybody else could pick up there, I would appreciate it.
Anything happen at parks?
Pool fees. What was on the agenda?
Here's the agenda one if you need it for anything.
It's way to be on top of things, man.
Sounds like we made all the motions for what you discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
We talked about 25th anniversary celebration, which is also included on that fee sheet.
When do you plan on having that?
The plan this next summer
Okay. I just want to be ready.
of the new pool.
With your Speedo?
I'm going to get a new one.
It's probably worth reporting, one item on the agenda was the funding for the completion of the batting cages that were almost entirely donated. So there was the parks made a motion to use developer fees to provide the remaining funding that's needed for that project.
Was that donated by Simmons?
Youth baseball did the
Oh, the youth-
$15,000 batting cage, and now they need to put the last finishing
Good.
touches on it. And so there was a conversation about whether we would provide any of that funding, and they decided to use developer fees.
Okay. Redevelopment Authority met earlier tonight, and we handled that. Public safety,
We met earlier, and the main thing on our agenda, we actually put on hold for right now because we're going to, DOT's coming Thursday for a meeting, I understand? Yes. So, and we're going to discuss the traffic flow from the interstate project.
thank you. Fire district,
Yes. The monthly meeting was held on April 4th, Thursday, April 4th, and the fire board did approve the draft of the audit. So Seipert is going to finalize that and make sure everybody gets a copy. There were, and I don't have it in front of me, but there were about 3 different items that they had recommended be looked at by the board and possibly make some changes. And the board had indicated that we took that very seriously, their recommendations, and we're going to plan to address each of those items. I had reported at the last meeting that we're meeting weekly, and we're continuing to do that to think about the way the fire department and EMS areas should be organized. And we met last Thursday evening in closed session with the DeForest interim chief to get thoughts and ideas on how they were organized. We will be meeting with the Monroe chief this Friday morning in closed session, and then hopefully next week we'll be meeting in closed session with chief of the Beloit Township. So we're continuing to gather information and ideas and thoughts on how others kind of like our size are organized.
That sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
thank you. Next item is consider introducing and approving the first reading of City of Edgerton Ordinance 0602, amend Chapter 2, Section 2.052, Border Review.
I'll make that a motion.
Okay, we had 2 of you making it as a motion.
Yeah, we don't need
Sorry
one.
about that.
One of you want to take a second?
I'll take the second.
Thanks. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Megan Bennett,
Yes.
Mark Walner,
Yes.
Chris Rowland,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is consider names for new road located north of 34 Highway 51.
I will make a motion to name the new road located north of 34, Highway 51, Tobacco Road.
I'll second that.
Tobacco Road.
Correct.
I like it.
Not even in the tobacco district downtown.
Oh, but it's in a tobacco field.
Is that, was there a second on that?
Yeah.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, was there?
There's a second. That's out of our emergency services area unless,
But it can be confused because it is being
What are you trying?
Another one up
Don't
the
speak
road.
in tongue.
road.
Another one up on Highway
Going towards
73.
Cambridge.
Oh.
It's just straight up 73.
Right, I know right where it's at. I haven't looked into it
And I just
because
wondered if it could get confused because there's 2 crossings also. Crossing Drive, Crossing Road, and that one get confused because they're both in Dayton County.
But that other one, it's not in our,
Albion Township, aren't they?
it's,
Is the North Tobacco?
No,
that ain't in Albion.
that's got to be in Christiana.
Yeah, it's
Not
probably
Albion.
up towards Christiana.
It's actually right near their town hall. Right, no, I took that into consideration. I even looked it up because I thought that road sign was something that somebody just put up. So I verified it is an actual road, and I know exactly where you're speaking of. So I did take that into consideration.
Is it up for any other motions at all, or?
Well, you got to vote on this one first. You can discuss this one, and then we got to vote on it. And then if this gets voted down, then you'd be able to make another one.
Thank you.
I think you can throw some suggestions out in your discussion if you're interested.
could we?
I would think so. You know, just-
I still am stuck on this Brailsford Junction, and I understand that wasn't the original Edgerton, but it was referenced in the Sterling, in the Sterling North book, referring to Edgerton. I like that.
I like the name of a road like Ray Boulevard, from Father to the Benushis, you know, they're starting a new development to the north side of Edgerton, or something like that, to affiliate with that family. I know it isn't theirs, like the Westwoods out there, with Jimmy Orrin named the streets after his kids and stuff, and on Hain Road, some of them streets were named after a certain thing, but there's just, but no big, I'm just talking, is that they were kind of a catalyst to get that things moving up there. It came to the city to start utilizing the TIF money and so forth. And just my comment, it'd be nice to have something related to that family, because even though I know Mark and guys made a nice motion for Dairyland Drive, or where it was up there, it's kind of a dairy theme up there, which is cool. But,
Dairyland Jubilee.
or whatever it was. But I just personally thought it'd be nice to have something to do with the, I've talked to the family, they said it'd be nice if we considered something like that. They didn't come up with any specific name, but that's my comment.
Any other thoughts? Any more discussion on the Tobacco Road, is it? Road?
Tobacco Road.
You know,
I think with what the chief has pointed out and what Matthew just said, I disagree with Tobacco Road.
you know, over the past years too, and I know it's been back and forth with even Tobacco Days, the Heritage Day, right?
The PC.
The PC, yeah.
You'll never sell me on that one.
You're one of those people.
I spent way too
No,
many
I'm not
hours
saying
into
I
that.
am one of them.
Right.
So
I am
that one.
all about the heritage. I'm all about the, if I wasn't, I wouldn't think Stoughton would have sent
And
my
I guess the
because of
arthritis in my
Norwegians.
back ain't politically correct.
No, I'm
We have a
just,
motion
I
and a
didn't say
second.
me, I just said others.
We've had enough dialogue tonight,
I
man.
like Brailsford Junction.
I call the question.
You go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay.
All right, then.
Motion to call the question in a second. Roll call on that.
We'll see what.
Keeping up over there?
I'm gonna say no.
Mark did.
Mark,
I
I
did.
seconded it. Yeah.
No, I made the motion also to
Call the question.
Call the question, correct.
Watch this. I'm gonna be loud.
Yes.
Yes, please.
This is for the call of question, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Davis?
No.
You want to call the question?
Right on, right on, girl.
Okay, I think that passed. So let's have a roll call on the original motion to name the street Tobacco Road, or Tobacco Road.
Yeah, be careful with that.
Lane?
I like it.
Yes.
Griswold?
Yes.
Hayes?
No.
McIntyre?
No.
Davis?
No.
Thomas?
Yes.
No.
Oh, here we go again, Mayor.
How'd you vote?
Where's your vote?
You're earning your keep.
Oh.
You said no?
Well, I guess I wouldn't have had to vote. It wouldn't have passed if I hadn't voted.
Okay, I will make a motion.
To have a Belushi Boulevard.
I was speaking.
Go ahead.
No, you go. I'll be nice. We can go through this. Three's a charm.
What were we going to do, Bob?
Oh, we voted on that at the last meeting, didn't we? Wasn't that a,
I'm going to second that motion.
I thought we had a,
It was a conversation, but no motion.
There was a vote on it because it was a tie vote because some guy abstained.
yeah, it was. It was.
You said no. That's
That's right.
We could
Hey,
vote it on again.
hey,
I know. So is there a motion on the floor right now?
Yes, I need a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Benushi Lane.
Boulevard.
Boulevard, I like that. It's got a nice
Second
ring
time
to it.
around.
Just rolls right off your tongue. Benushi Boulevard.
Again. Question from the
Put it
audience.
on the map.
Yeah.
When you vote on a later, or Benushi, whatever you're gonna call it, I just have a question. What happens if you name the street that, and the owner decides to sell the property?
Right.
Well, whatever. So what?
Why are we naming our streets after bartenders?
Well, he's not a bartender, he's a businessman. I don't consider him a bartender.
Named any of our other subdivisions after the guys that developed them?
Thank God, or we'd have Schultz
Well, that's a private
Development.
development. Your brother named Westwoods after his, the kids, didn't he?
But that's the developer's
Right,
choice.
exactly. That's what it
Just
said.
like
That's what it
Mr.
said.
Benushi has an opportunity to name the streets in his development.
Right,
When
and
he
I think we
developed-
need to leave it laid there with him so he can be the one to make the decision if he wants
Well,
to.
I talked to him, he said it'd be
Name
nice
it
to have
after.
something from
Well, then
the
he has the
family.
opportunity to do that.
He has every opportunity to name a
To
street.
Lane off 51.
I think we
Not better
are,
than Tobacco Road.
hey, I think we're missing the obvious. Why don't we name it Candy Lane?
Ah, I like it. I like it. Candyland Lane?
Or land, Candy Land.
Better than having it on McIntyre
Is there a
Street.
second?
Yeah.
For a second,
Okay, yeah, we got to get moving here because people are starting to take it personal and that's never good.
nah,
So there's a motion and a second for Benushi Boulevard. Any further discussion on that? Roll call.
Mapes,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
McIntyre,
yes.
Davis,
No.
Thomas,
Nope.
Marklonis,
No.
Motion fails.
I'd like to make a motion to name it Brailsford Junction.
Second. I'll third it.
Okay, do you want a junction or do you want a
Brailsford Junction.
Brailsford?
want it over with.
Oh, Brailsford Junction Road, would it be a road? Would it be, what would it be? Drive?
Parkway.
What would that be, a drive or?
How about like Brailsford Drive?
You just want to drop the junction out of it?
Yeah, drop the junction.
Good, you could see it then.
There's
Yeah.
actually ways you're supposed to name them according to the postal,
Yes,
whether it's got a cul-de-sac in the middle or.
whether it's a
Right.
circle or a drive or a Brailsford Way.
I want junction in there, like you had.
Brailsford, well then, Brailsford
does it need a road or?
No, I don't need
Junction.
nothing on there.
Just junction, Brailsford Junction.
Junction is a junction, it's
Yeah.
an intersection of two
Brailsford
streets.
Junction.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like it.
Sounds like it'd be a city or a town.
Well, ideally, it is. It is, according to Sterling North, it is. Watch it, you're going to be breaking the mold again.
Is the cannonball going to run to it?
Like I said, your other option is Candy Cane Lane.
Okay, so you don't want road or way or
Nope,
parkway
junction.
or?
Nope. Brailsford Junction, I just like that.
My second stands.
Actually, they
Oh, that's right, I had a third. That's right, I had the third.
Haha, Dave's with me.
No? He's going, good Lord.
No more discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Marklonis,
No.
Griswold,
Yes.
Mapes,
No.
McIntyre,
No.
Has this,
Hey, Chris, you got
3-3?
Yeah. Chris.
I don't like the junction. I gotta not
oh,
vote.
this went down in history? Well, then it's not worth it. If you don't add the junction, it's not worth the.
Gotta have something added to it, though.
Junction Drive, Junction Way, Brailsford Junction Drive.
What's the timing of this?
Yeah,
as far
We're
as-
late. We should have had it done.
We put it
What are
on.
we waiting for? Really? We'll just make the
We're
decision.
we're waiting to come up with a good name for it, I guess.
It doesn't have to be done, we should get it done.
Throw an avenue on the end of that and I'll
Well,
go for it.
we gotta redo
It just gets so long, though.
Okay.
It's gotta be a yes or
What about
no.
Martin Luther King? I mean, there's a lot of long.
What about Rascal
So
Road?
that motion's dead, right?
That's it.
I make a motion that we
I'm
name.
gonna, because it was my original motion.
I make a motion
I make
that
a
we
motion
name it
to call it
Brailsford Junction Way.
to be my motion.
I'll second.
I'll make a motion to close
How
West.
do you spell way?
Oh, for the
W-H-E-Y.
There was cows out
Hey,
there.
that's a good idea, W-H-E-Y.
Okay, any other
That's
discussion?
Woggy.
It really is. Yeah.
That's Woggy.
Actually, it's a good one.
Any other
Okay, it's time for
discussion?
me to go to work tomorrow. No.
H-E-Y-S.
Yeah, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Roll call.
Chris Wellman,
Yes.
McIntyre.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. See my name. Yes.
Thomas,
I guess so, yes.
Bartolome,
Absolutely not.
Oh.
No.
So that was 3 with 1 absolutely yes, and who knows? So
what's-
4 yeses?
What's the name of this street?
Alfred Junction Way.
So is it in our budget to have a sign that long? I mean,
Funny.
Well, I think if
Has
we,
a hat.
Just don't put the raccoon on the end
Boulevard.
of
What
it.
about Boulevard? Brailsford Junction
Rascal
Boulevard.
Way.
I already said Rascal Road.
I don't remember that.
Okay,
Okay.
where are we at here? Mayor, alderperson, and staff reports. In front of you was a left, I think there was committee list for tomorrow? Okay, well, they're right here, so. For tomorrow night, there are 5 citizen vacancies. I've got a few people that are considering. If you know anybody that would be interested in RDA, planning, police commission, revolving loan fund, and economic development corporation, which the last 2, I've got guys that are waving pretty good on them. They might take them.
Waiting for RDA, you said, Chris?
RDA, Dave Kotwitz is not going to be hanging around with us much more. He wants to travel or something. I
That's her. Yeah.
don't know why he
Boy,
doesn't
we
like
should
being
have
down
called
here.
it Kotowitz Way.
Let's see. The other thing I've got is to thank Lyle for his services, and hopefully he wants to stick around and maybe pick up a spot or 2 there, but if not,
Thank you,
we
Lyle.
understand why. And thank you for your time you did put in, even though it took a little bending to convince you.
I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for appointing me in September 2014 and for the constituents for electing me in April of 2015. It's been a privilege to serve the citizens of Edgerton. It's been very interesting and it's been very challenging being a member of city council. Tonight's meeting would be a very good example of that. My hat's off to the small number of citizens who serve on the committees, serve as alderpersons, and who volunteer their time and effort. I was very surprised at the number of hours it took to be an alderperson and serve on some of these committees. I would like to encourage the citizens of Edgerton to get more involved and to attend more city council meetings. I'd like to thank Ramona and her staff, the City of Edgerton staff, the council, department heads, for all their help and their patience answering my endless questions. And last but not least, I have a secret weapon that I'm going to gift to Ramona to help her with her constituents.
Oh, boy.
Thank you.
It's magic.
Does she need to open it?
yeah, I would think so.
Sure.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Times like tonight's meeting, that should help you.
Oh, very good. You need to bring that to these meetings.
Thank you. I'm going to put it right here, next to the gavel. Just wave that and magic
I would like
things
to
will
say
happen.
that Lila, it was nice serving with you, actually. Nice, good to know you. I'm actually going to miss you. I don't know who I'm going to pick on now.
Pick on your brother.
We'll see what the new guys
And your other
like.
brother. And your other brother.
My other brother. But thanks, Lyle.
Thank you, Lyle. It's been a
Yeah, thank you.
pleasure.
Chris, yeah, thanks, Lyle, and we know each other since we're little kids down on Broadway Street back in the 60s.
Probably back when he was mayor, I'm betting.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, we grew up together, and it's interesting living in small towns and stuff where you 40, 50 years later, you end up serving the council with, say, brothers or cousins or, friends like that. We had some very good times. We grew up and we ended up working together on city issues. It was really interesting, and you asked some very good questions, Lyle. You came in fresh with no agendas and stuff, and you asked really good questions about procedures and agenda items. It was really refreshing to hear you talk and administer your city council duties, Lyle, and thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, you bet. I had a couple more for us, or do you want to?
Go ahead.
When they trimmed the trees on Sunday, did they pick up all the crap or the brush and stay today? Who did the trimming of trees?
Tim Clarkson is contract.
Yeah, I was just-
So he swept them this morning, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
downtown, they had a lot of activity, and everybody's complained about it, just to mention. And they had a hard time parking and walking. And Chris, you mentioned the dumpsters up at the racetrack park. Are we going to have a different location for them? Or not saying you have a...
Yes.
Okay, just people mention it to come in and see it. It's beautiful out there. They see them sitting out there. I don't know if you have any...
Once you can get the trucks in there where you can decide where to put them, wasn't it?
Okay.
That's-
Sounds good.
Can I do number 12?
Not yet. Before everybody leaves, there's cookies in the back to celebrate Lyle's leaving us. Or being to celebrate his time he spent with us.
I think they're stale by now, aren't they?
You mean you've been celebrating that long? Now you can.
I make a motion for number 12 to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.